All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Rise, we won't be in our shots.
I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag
of
of the United States of America,
to
and
the
to the
republic
republic
for
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all. Moment of silence. Thank you. The listing of matters on the agenda are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed, in fact, may be discussed. Other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting is being videotaped for cable. Could we get a motion to approve the minutes from our March 19th school committee meeting?
Moved.
Second? We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from our March 26th school committee meeting?
Move.
Moved.
Second? We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Superintendent's update. Dr. Oakley.
Okay, I have a number of things that I'll just go through as quickly as possible so that we don't all end up in the dark. So for budget, you know that we presented to the Finance Committee and Selectmen at the end of March. Usually I don't hear until around the middle of April on what they're going to put forward to the town meeting or for our whole budget, whether they're going to cut us or not or give us what we asked for. But since the town meeting, I don't believe is going to be May 18th now. I'm not sure if they're going to do one at the end of June or September. They were throwing around dates for either one of them, I guess, at the last selectmen's meeting, and I have not gotten an update about that. So I don't believe we'll hear probably for several more weeks, especially with the uncertainty of what budgets are going to look like. And the House and Senate of Massachusetts came out and said that it could be later in the summer that they actually vote and approve a budget this year. So I think the budget this year will be could be put off a little bit. So I don't really have an update on our FY21 budget right now. As far as the pandemic, we have a meeting with the Commissioner of Education tomorrow at 1, all superintendents. And, you know, we'd love to return on May 4th, but unfortunately, I'm not totally optimistic about that. And I believe the governor will probably wait to see what happens with this spike and when our curve starts to flatten and what happens with that before he makes a decision. But I believe probably a week or two down the road, the governor will make a decision on whether or not we go back May 4th. I also don't know if he'll call it for the rest of the year or just for a few weeks. I'm really not sure. I know the commissioner has said to us in the past that even if we could get in at some point in June, just to kind of talk to kids and have some closure, that he might want to try to do that. But on the other hand, you have to look at the science and you have to look at the data and you have to make sure people are safe before that happens. You can't just do it because you want to do it. So I might have more of an update tomorrow about a timeline, but we have no indication as of today whether or not they're going to extend the closure. With remote learning, you know that last week we started a remote learning 2.0 program, and I'm hoping that teachers and kids are getting in a groove with that. You know, we never meant for this program to replace traditional school. It can't. It's not even supposed to replicate the school day. It's more about keeping that teacher and homeschool connection with the kids and also giving them a little bit of normalcy during this time of closure so that they have their continuity of education. Nothing's going to replace what we do in our brick and mortar building. And I had a meeting this morning with my superintendent's council. A number of kids were on the call, and they all admitted that they're doing okay with the remote learning program, and they like how we switched it, especially at the middle senior high school, to a schedule. They like having a schedule so that everything's not all over the place. But they all admitted that, you know, it's great, we're getting the instruction, but what they're missing is the fun part of school. And there's a lot of fun parts of school. I think a lot of kids are going to come back to school and really appreciate school now that may not have appreciated it before. I know that teachers are going to be well appreciated now by parents and community members because they now see how hard they work and what they're doing. So hopefully they'll set into a groove into that program even more. You know, the teachers are working hard, and I want to get that on the record because unless you've done it, people don't realize how hard it is to jump from a face-to-face curriculum to online curriculum midstream when you had no training how to do it. It's a whole different way to teach. And I haven't talked to every teacher, but I've talked to a lot of teachers, not just in West Bridgewater and other places. And these first few weeks, they're working actually more hours than they usually do because the prep is so much work to get it up and running. Hopefully they will get in the groove with that and it won't be as bad, but they're working very, very hard at this program. I talked to the principals this morning, and most of the schools are seeing a rise in participation since we went with the 2.0 program. And again, the kids said that they actually were positive. All the kids said that they were positive about the program. I did ask, are you noticing that there are some teachers that are struggling a little more with the technology piece? And they said, actually, they're all the ones they had are doing really well with it and doing a good job. So they like these high school kids and middle school kids anyway, like the Google Classroom format. And they really like having the face-to-face with the teacher so that they at least see every teacher once a week. Again, because I think all the kids realize, and we realize, that it's about the connection. It's about the communication between the teachers and the kids. And they're getting the hang of it. AP classes, I'm being told, are getting some extra time. Teachers are doing that on their own and giving the kids extra time because because the College Board is still offering online tests at the end of May, and most of the kids are still going to opt in for that. The curriculum's only going to go up to the middle of March. So this time they get a lot of review with their teachers. And I told the seniors today in my group, and I think I'd like to put that out too, that we haven't forgotten about them. We're starting conversations about addressing some of the senior activities and what we're going to do. I think we need to know whether or not we're going back in May 1st before we make some hard decisions. You know, everything else I think can get made up in some way, shape, or form. We can move things to next year for a lot of things, but not for seniors. So we need to think outside the box and come up with a way to make sure that we make their graduation memorable, with following guidelines that might come down. So even if we have to move it into the summer or later in June or into the summer, we still want to do something, and we will. And I know I've talked to Mrs. Page and Mr. Bodwell about that, and we'll figure it out and make sure that it's as memorable and meaningful for them as possible. The next thing is food service. You've probably heard that we have a lot of families that are picking up breakfast and lunch, and our food service staff is working very hard. They're on the front lines, and they're following all safety precautions that were put out by the USDA and the state food service. I want to give a shout out to Anne Marie Grinder and our staff. Last week alone, on Monday, they did 575 meals, Wednesday, 545, and then Friday, 921. And I know that's because they do 2 days, the extra day because of the weekend for meals. I haven't gotten a number for today, but I know they were out there in this horrible weather in the rain serving their meals. So that's a credit to the dedication of Anne Marie and her staff. So I think that's all I have for my update.
Thank you, Dr. Oakley. Now we'll move into business. We have a discussion and a vote regarding April vacation. Do we have anybody with any comments regarding April vacation?
I do.
Well, I can
I,
tell you- oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Did everyone get the survey results from the teachers that I sent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was about 87 to 13. 87% of the teachers said that they wanted to work through the vacation. I asked the student council kids today, and all of them said that they're in a groove and they'd rather just work through April vacation. If you do work through, my proposal would be that Patriots Day on Monday would still be observed because it is a state holiday, so we need to do that. And then for elementary students, their weekly schedule that's usually given out on Monday will be given out on Tuesday, and then they will Zoom meetings the rest of the week. And then for the middle senior high school, we'll just shift things by a day. Tuesday would be AB, Wednesday CD, Thursday EF, and Friday GH. And we would get out of school on June 15th. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Oakley. Does anybody have any comments?
I do. I know that the survey results came back saying that they want to work through April vacation. I think with the knowledge that we have right now that we're going to be, returning to school on May 4th, that I would rather see the days at the end of the school year. One, with kids are present, I think it would give more opportunity for the school to have, like Dr. Oakley talked about, those fun activities and those face-to-face activities that we're not able to have right now. And there is a percentage of people that, I don't know how large or small it is, that are having a hard time with things at home and could use a break. There's definitely, I hear that there's going to be a peak next week. I hope it's not true, but that could mean that students, parents, teachers are ill and recovering. So it's it might be a good time to take a break. And also I'm not in the situation, but the situation with people with younger kids and camps don't start as early as June 15th. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe there won't even be camps this summer. I'm not sure. But I think the June 19th date of ending would give us a little more time to do those fun activities with the younger kids, the older kids, the seniors, and also the parents that have been at home or working from home. That's just one more week where the children are at school and present with their friends and teachers.
I think it's just hard to know if we'll even get that, though, Molly. I mean, so much is up in the air right now. I mean, there's a good chance that they might not go back at all for the remainder of the year. And to just extend the online learning that much further when they've just started to get into the groove with it, I think I'm more in favor with just continuing with it, since it is still relatively new and they're kind of just adapting to the new routine now.
Yeah, they would still have those days of online learning in the end, though. If they wouldn't lose out on any online days of learning. They would just have the 4 on. If we didn't go back, let's say
Right.
we're still in the same situation in June, they haven't lost anything. But if we do go back, I feel like we'll lose those 4 days of face-to-face.
Right.
I know.
My opinion is to pretty much take at heart what the teachers have to say. They're the ones every day that are kind of trying to get some learning done with the kids. I think that they are under the impression by such a wide margin that they have kind of reached the kids here a little bit. And I think if we give the kids that time off, or we get away from this, even from the teacher's end, from the parents' end, from the kids' end, I just think it's going to be another week or two before we can get the kids back into this learning mode. And I think we're in a good spot right now that the kids are learning, they are comfortable, the teachers are comfortable actually executing their lesson plans. So I'm kind of in favor of keeping this ball rolling the way it is.
I'd like to support the teachers too with respect to the survey results. I mean, they're really the ones who are trying to balance, the learning and their own families and their own dynamics. And if the majority of that survey says that they want to continue, then I would just support what the teachers are asking for, or not what they're asking for, but what they're responding to and how they're responding. That's just my vote.
So can I just say, this week Mark and I were talking with our staff, and they said, starting Monday, that we went into like a more, routine, certain blocks and so forth, that the participation has grown like huge. So I'm afraid if we, after 1 week, kind of stop, if it's going to take time again to get them back into that routine, that they're at like 90-something% participation, where the week before, not so.
Hmm,
Yeah.
good point.
Jim, do you have anything? Are you good? Is Jim there?
I'm here. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, Bill. Yeah, I've looked at this from all aspects, and I've looked at it from a couple of other aspects that maybe you guys aren't aware of. Where I manage a building where there's 75% of them are lawyers in the building. They're all telling me the same thing, that the chances of us going back on May 4th are slim to none at this point in time. I've talked with a couple of I've had conversations with elevator inspectors and a couple other types of inspectors, and they're saying all the same thing. It doesn't look good. They're thinking that we'll be lucky if we go back even by the middle of May, if not by April. I am definitely in favor of, we've got the ball rolling. I think the teachers deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing. And I think that in all honesty, I think that we should keep that ball rolling. In my eyes, it has nothing to do with getting out on June 15th or we get out on June 20th. It has to do with momentum. And I think that it's important for us all to consider the fact that, once you, again, get that ball rolling, let's maintain it and keep going.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank
Does anybody else have any comments? Okay, with no comments, I'd like to put a motion forward that the week beginning Monday, January 20th, with Monday being a holiday, that we resume online classes Tuesday the 21st through Friday the 24th, going forward that week in April.
Moved.
Second.
We have a vote. Jim?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Donna?
Aye.
Molly?
No.
And I'm an aye, so that's a 4-1 vote to stay forward with Tuesday through Friday, April 24th through the 24th, to stay with classes. Thank you very much. Our next item would be our Student Opportunities Act.
Yeah. So the Student Opportunity Act, was the change in a lot of things, but one of the main things was Chapter 70. And part of the statute when this money was coming out was that every district, regardless of how much money they got in increase, had to put a plan together of how you would spend our millions, or in our case, our $148,000 that we got for next year. We also, and as you know, we actually got less than we got the year before. So the Student Opportunity Act didn't actually help West Bridgewater, but because it's a statute, we have to also put in a report. It was due on April 1st. Deadline has been moved to May 15th, but one of the parts of the report is that school committees have to certify that you agree with the plan that we put in. So I am going to just kind of outline what our plan is based on input from information through our strategic planning, through school councils, through the administrators, and really based on things that we're already doing to close the opportunity gap between different subgroups, because that's really what the premise is. They want, the first question that we have to fill out is, what subgroups will we address and do things with to close gaps? And then we have to say what types of things will we do to help close the gap, how much this will cost, and we then need to put together some metrics so that down the road we can show that, yes, we went up 10 points or growth went up 30% or whatever the metrics you want to use. So it's hard because we're probably going to be cutting our budget. So to say that we're going to take all this money and put it into something, it's to me, for a school like us, it's an exercise in futility. Secondly, with this coronavirus and the way that we don't know how it's going to affect our economy. And we don't even know if all the money that was in the governor's budget going to even these cities is still going to go to these cities. So this might be something that we don't even need, but right now by law, we have to get it in. So when I spoke to the commissioner, I said, we're getting less money and I might even have to cut. And he said, well, there must be things that you're already doing that you've already put into place or would put into place, even if it's not with this extra money, to close those achievement gaps. And we do that all the time by looking at our MCAS data. So the two areas that I would like to put in the report to address is to address the gap of student with disabilities and Title I students. And the metrics to measure that will be the achievement data on MCAS, the growth data on MCAS, and also at the elementary level, the iReady data that we get in both math and ELA in-house, because you need three ways to measure it.
Patty, what was that last measure?
The iReady program that we have, we use it at the elementary school.
Yeah.
And it's an in-house assessment that we use.
Okay.
We are going to continue to work increasing and giving teachers professional development on co-teaching and a more inclusionary environment, and that will help us with our students with disabilities, but also really working more on a full implementation district-wide. We started it at the lower elementary and we're moving our way up. And this is a really co-teaching and inclusion is really a philosophical change, not something that you can put in and say it's done in one day or 1 year. It takes years to build upon. So that's really something to help enhance our special education program. But also for the Title I kids, we're looking at how we can help that model and adjust that model to more of a push-in model versus a pull-out model for the Title I kids. We're also started this year, and we're going to enhance the after-school programming through the Title IV grant, I believe, with our Title I kids. So those are the programs that we're going to support with our millions, and that's what I'm going to put into the Student Opportunity Act form that I have to put in. So I don't know if you have any questions, but it is a vote that you certify that this plan is in agreement with the school committee.
Does anybody have any questions for Dr.?
Was that a misuse of the word million, Dr. Oakley?
Yeah, it's hard to tell sarcasm when you're on a Google Meet, but yes, that was a
Sarcasm. Sarcasm is something that we all fully understand with you. Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to move forward with your suggestion or comments as a plan, and let's see what happens.
Is that a motion, Jim?
Yeah, that's my motion. I hope it's okay.
I second.
All in favor? Well, Sue, yes.
Aye.
Donna,
Aye.
Molly,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Thank you very much.
Good luck, Dr. Oakley.
Yeah.
Inclusion.
Well,
conclusion.
I'm not the one that's going to have to implement it. I'm just writing it. There you go, Mark.
Who's not here tonight? Go figure.
No, he's in. He's on it.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah?
He is.
He's taking copious notes going, holy crap, I'm going to have to do that.
What's he on?
No,
Silent?
maybe we should have asked for his vote.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi,
we have,
excuse me for 1 second. Did Mr. Holden make the motion to move forward with the recommendation and plan, or was it Mr. Flynn?
I did.
Mr. Holden.
Okay, thank you.
Hold it.
Okay, Inclusion Matters update.
Yes, hi, I have the Inclusion Matters update. Inclusion Matters has been committed to families with special needs during the pandemic. While some of our workshops have been canceled due to the closing of schools, Inclusion Matters has been hosting weekly video conference calls with families around topics such as structuring our days at home, teaching reading, growing our kids' social and emotional skills, and coping with the overwhelm of our kids' schoolwork. The calls are on Wednesday mornings from 8 to 9 a.m., and families with and without special needs are invited to join us. This week's call will be about managing our children's behavior. For information on how to join the conversation, you can visit our Inclusion Matters Facebook page. In addition, Inclusion Matters awarded its first ever grant of gratitude this month. Congratulations to West Bridgewater kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Kara Jennings, who received multiple nominations from families. Mrs. Jennings embodies the spirit of inclusion in her classroom, and we were pleased to present her with an award of $250 to use to continue to make learning accessible for all West Bridgewater students. Finally, Inclusion Matters would like to thank all. Yep. Sorry.
No, I just said that's kind of
We
cool.
would like to thank. Oh, very cool. She already has plans on what she's going to use it for, which was some great materials for her classroom. And then finally, Inclusion Matters would like to thank all the WB families who participated in our March Family Fun Raffle Night out at Grand Slam Pizza. It was, I think, the night before restaurants got closed down. With your help, we raised $890 to continue to support families with special needs and inclusive education in our district. So thank you, everyone, for their support.
That's awesome. I just wanted to say
Thank you, Ms.
congratulations to Kara. That's really, really well deserved. All the teachers deserve recognition, and I think that's fantastic what Inclusion Matters is doing, Molly. That's really nice.
Thank you very much, Molly. Warrant subcommittee report.
That's me. So the following warrants, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. The following warrants were issued and paid for fiscal year 2020. Under the bill warrants, there were 3. March 19th, 2020, in the amount of $75,818.13. March 26th of 2020, in the amount of $10,680.09. And then the third was dated April 9th, 2020, in the amount of $26,978.09. And there were 2 payroll warrants dated, there's numbered 24 and 25. The first was dated April 3rd of 2020 in the amount of $471,919.86. And the second payroll warrant is dated April 17th of 2020 in the amount of $462,815.20. As always, all warrants are public record, and once they are signed, they are available in the Selectman's office for review.
Thank you, Mrs. Sullivan.
Thank you.
The public forum, members of the audience wishing to address the committee may do so at this time. Audience members are reminded that personnel issues or issues that would violate student or employee confidentiality cannot be addressed during the public forum. Do we have anybody on that would like to address the committee? All right, not hearing any. Our next regular school committee meeting date will be Monday, May 11th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m., hopefully in the middle senior high school learning commons. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe.
All right. Good night,
You
all.
too. Thank you. Good
Good
night.
night.